Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of The Growth Show. I'm your host, Whitney, and this is a solo episode, and I'm actually talking about a topic I wasn't planning to record this episode. I had another topic in mind, but based on what I'm going through this week, I figured this was a topic that I should talk about, and it is overcoming overwhelm and dealing with self-defeating thoughts, which I've definitely been experiencing this week. I actually shared it on social media. By the time this airs, this will be from last week, but some people agreed they were also feeling it was a Monday that I shared on social media. I was feeling a little overwhelmed, and Mondays can be challenging for me. But then I thought by Tuesday or yesterday I would kick it and be good. And I just could not get out of my funk. And I'm feeling okay right now, feeling okay today. It's still, the day is still young. But I thought, yeah, it would be good to talk about because I know this is something that so many of us deal with, whether we have a job, whether we're entrepreneurs, whether we're making that transition from employment to entrepreneurship. If you've been in business for years, you still deal with this. Basically, what was going on for me, we had some great plans over the weekend. Sometimes this happens too, where it's like such whiplash. Like you have a full weekend or you have a lot of stuff that goes on, and then Monday comes and it's just whoa. And so I have a lot of stuff on my plate right now. I have some contracts that I am working on for clients' renewals. So that's taking some of my energy and my time and thinking. I am working on a new training and a new funnel for my program. I am in a mastermind. So I may have mentioned a couple weeks ago that I joined a mastermind. It's about ads, but also just about launching and sales. And sorry, the road is very loud today. I know this is probably picking up some of it, but hopefully not too much of it. So I'm in that mastermind. It's a year-long program, but I really want to make the most of it. So of course, I want to be doing all the things that are recommended and coming to the calls. So that is something that I'm working on and just moving the things forward in that program. It's just taking time and energy to do it. And I feel like a crunch for time. And then there's some team management things that I'm working through and working on. And that one is taking a lot out of me, more than I think I'm really recognizing. And it's something that I'm trying to understand and unpack right now. Is it that I'm just letting my emotions take hold? I think I'm probably telling myself that I'm not cut out to manage. Is this the right path? Should I still be doing this, or should I be like taking a different path? Am I not cut out for this? And I even reached out in a community that I'm in to just ask for some guidance. And I got just such amazing support and guidance and people sharing what they do. And then, of course, I started telling myself that I am behind. Oh man, I should have thought of that. I should be doing those things. So, on the one hand, it was helpful to hear from folks, but then on the other hand, I started making those things mean things about me as opposed to using them as, hey, this is really great advice and knowledge. And both of those people that shared information like offered to talk to me and support me and all of that. But yet I let it put me further down into the spiral. I'm trying to think of other stuff that's been on my mind and my plate. I think I just have a lot on my to-do list, and my hand is in so many different pots of sales, of working on like new content, managing the team, managing like sales, customer delivery. It's a lot. And that's like for all of us, right? Like any entrepreneur is going to have multiple things that you're trying to juggle. And I think I used to have this dream that like I would just be able to one day work on only one thing and focus on one thing. Okay, I'll get everything set so I only have to work on this. And I do think that there are those businesses where that business owner has brought in a lot of people to support them, and maybe they're not doing as much management, but they're still going to have to manage the people that manage the people. And they're still going to have to set the strategy, and they're still going to have their hand in some things, and they're going to have difficult things. And when you have a larger business, there are more potential risks or things that you are trying and putting out there that maybe a small business wouldn't have. So I think sometimes I tell myself this story that if I just got to a certain level, all of my problems would go away. And that's not true. And so I have worked and at least thought about it's really me that needs to change. It's my mindset, it's my ability to deal with adversity, to deal with uncomfortable situations, how to manage my emotions better, how to come out of difficult situations better, because that's really the only thing that we can control, right? Is how we react to the situations. Because any business, and I often I look at Lady Gaga's got it figured out, or whether you like him or not, Jeff Bezos, almost richest, maybe richest, one of the richest men in the world. And I'm like, I'm sure he still has stuff that he has to think about and worry about and manage. Lady Gaga has to be worrying about if her next record is going to do well or her tour is going to do well and all of that. Everyone has things that they have to be managing and thinking about. I think that's just one thing that I'm trying to remind myself of. But anyway, so yeah, I think I've been dealing with a lot of overwhelm, feeling like I need to get all the things done all at once. Like a lot of the timelines that I have right now, at least for the sales focused things and new content, are really self-imposed and they don't have to be done at the timeline. I want them to be done really badly, but they don't have to be done. So that's what I'm going through. Maybe you resonate with some of that. Maybe if you have gone through this or you're even going through it now, you're having some different flavors of things that you are feeling not good about or challenged about. I think I also was feeling like, man, is all of this work worth it? I'm trying all these things. I'm putting my all into this new content and all of that. And is it even going to matter? Is it even going to make a difference? Is this even going to work out? So I'm sure you've had those thoughts too. And just feeling a little bit sometimes like a little hopeless. Man, this is so hard. It's not really ever going to get easier. But again, I think it's how we relate to the work and what it is, what needs to change, because I think we can make it as easy or as hard as we want to. So now I want to talk through the things that I've tried in the past and that I'm trying now to get myself out of this. And like I said, frankly, if I was still feeling as bad as I was yesterday, I wouldn't be recording this podcast. It can be really hard for me to show up when I am feeling low in my business, and that can be really challenging. And I don't honestly know how content creators are able to just show up. That's something that's always been just mind-boggling to me. But I guess I wanted to normalize this fact of, yeah, we put our best face forward on social media, on our website, on our podcasts, on webinars, and everything that we're doing. And we're not showing that side when we're sitting on the couch wrapped in a blanket, just crying and listening to Spotify like I was doing yesterday. We don't share those moments necessarily. And so we can feel like no one has those moments, but they're there. And I'm speaking now of a place of being a bit on the other side of it, at least a little bit of a sun coming through the clouds kind of thing. And so I want to talk about that. So one of the things that I did on Monday and that I did yesterday is I finally just stopped work. I just had to take a break and walked away from the computer and went and sat outside with my journal and listened to some music. And then yesterday I also just sat on the couch. I wanted to journal a little bit, but I ended up looking at TikTok. And I don't think that's a good break. I think for me, at least, it needs to be I need my brain to actually have some clear space. And if I just go from, okay, I'm thinking about work to then going to TikTok and numbing my brain, then I don't think that I'm really giving myself that mental break and that time to clear my head and clear what's going on. It's almost just like a Band-Aid. But that was one of the things that I learned from my coach. And I don't know if you ever listened to Abraham Hicks and Law of Attraction. Some of it I think is really good, solid advice. And one of the pieces of advice is just stop. If you are just spiraling, just stop. Go to bed. Tomorrow's another day. See how tomorrow feels. So I think it is something that can be really tough, especially when I was literally looking at my to-do list and I'm like, how the heck am I going to get through all of these things? The last thing I wanted to do was step away, but I knew that me sitting there and just torturing myself and feeling awful was not going to be productive either. So I think that's a number one. Another thing is journaling, like I mentioned. And for me, sometimes it just helps to write out all of the things that are bothering me because sometimes I'm so wrapped up in it that I'm like, man, I just feel so bad. And this is bothering me and this is bothering me. And instead of getting it out, it's just like rolling around in my head like forever. And sometimes I journal and I write down the same stuff. But because if you're feeling bad a couple days in a row, you might be upset about the same things. I'll journal and just say, what are all the things that are bothering me? And sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit more empowered, I can write down the things that are bothering me. And then what is the next step for that thing? What's the reality? What's the fact of that? Because I think a lot of times if the things are piling on, then they feel just so emotionally charged. When you see them in the cold light of day, it's okay, this isn't as bad as it feels, or just normalize whatever is going on with it and be like, this is what's going to happen. This is the truth. This is the reality, to stop that spiraling of it. So I've found journaling and just writing down what's bothering me, even that, to just be like a momentary release valve of the pressure and the frustration, especially because I think as entrepreneurs, we have so many things coming at us all at once. You may think that you had your day planned out and that you were going to do X, Y, and Z. And then suddenly there's an email that lands in your inbox. Maybe your kid has an ear infection and has to go to the doctor. You get called into a meeting for something else. A team member didn't do the thing that you wanted them to do. And suddenly your whole day is messed up and you're just feeling so overwhelmed and so frustrated. And you don't even know how to really get through that anger and frustration and overwhelm. So I think writing it down, getting it out of your head. Another thing is reaching out to people and finding that others feel this way too. Other people are struggling with it. And like I was saying, even the most powerful, successful people deal with problems of overwhelm and frustration and stressors and all of that. And I think the more we can normalize those feelings, we can just feel less alone. And I think I'm not so good about reaching out to people when I'm feeling down or struggling with something. And that is something that I think I need to get better at, and to recognize that there are a few people in my life that I know I could reach out to. I think motivational books can also be something that can, maybe not in that moment. I don't know for me that I've necessarily gone and read a book when I'm like in that like lowest of the low. But if you're feeling like you're in a season of overwhelm or a little bit of hopelessness, a little bit of, I don't know if this is going to work, then some of the books that helped me, especially when I was getting started with my entrepreneurial journey, I feel like that is like the beginning of the roller coaster, and you need that power and to push you up. And so I read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I read You Are a Badass. And then later on, I read Everything is Figured from Marie Forleo. And that was really helpful at the time as I was going through. So that was not the beginning of my business. That was like midway through. Find some of those books that kind of will give you a little bit of that pep talk and shift your mindset a little bit. I think those can be helpful as well. Also, self-care and exercise and meditation. And so I meditate every day. I can't say that I am perfect at it by any regard, but I do sit down and do it, and it does give me some relief. It does always help just chill me out, and it's a good routine to get into, whether you're doing it for 5 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. Exercise for me is also another one. So I think part of the reason that I'm feeling really empowered and good this morning is because I went to the gym and I lifted some heavy weights, and that just always makes me feel just like on top of the world, frankly. So I think those are things and we can sometimes let them slip when we're either really stressed out or we have a lot going on. And yeah, I think getting those endorphins from exercise is just so good. And then finally, I hinted at this in a few of the things, but like shifting your mindset and really taking back control of what's going on and how you're feeling and how you are reacting to what is going on for you right now. And one of the things that my coach shared with me early on in our coaching relationship was this idea of being either at cause or at effect. And I actually want to read just like a quick excerpt of, she gave me this handout. And so you can either be basically a victim of the circumstances that are going on around you and saying, oh God, this team member didn't do the thing that I wanted them to do. This client is giving me a lot of trouble. This person said no, whatever the case is, versus saying, okay, what part of these circumstances can we fix or move forward and learn from and take responsibility for? Not that it's your fault or anything like that, but if you're just the victim of your circumstances, there's really no hope, right? Because then you're just saying that you never have ownership over any outcome that happens to you. And that's not a very powerful place to come from. And it can be tough in the moment to be like moving yourself onto the other side of it. But I think this has been like a really powerful mindset shift for me that helped me as I just had different challenges come up in my business and was able to see them. So people who operate from a context of being victimized feel powerless and helpless in the face of some act, circumstance they're like done to. They're caring mostly about safety and feeling good, which I will say a lot of times that is what I am. That is what I'm aiming for. I don't want bad feelings. I don't want to feel upset. I don't want to feel nervous. I don't want to feel anxious. I want everyone to like me. Who doesn't want that? So I think I need to even take some of this advice and really be thinking about that, because I think I operate sometimes from a lot of self-protection, and that is just not an empowered place to come from. And especially as a business owner, where you do need to be taking risks, you need to be putting yourself out there and being vulnerable a little bit to what's going to come from you stepping out and putting yourself out there. So I'm sure you could actually Google this and learn more. Let's see, the victim seeks advice, the victim looks for rescue. And that was something too. It was funny with my business coach when I was having like challenges or feeling frustrated at all of that. I would always run to her and be like, what should I do? I just feel so low. I feel so bad, whatever. And I would be so frustrated because I felt like she was telling me to do the same things over. And I was like, I want something new. And now that I am not working with her anymore, I'm realizing like it would have been a good use of time to develop those coping skills and keep practicing them and get better at them. And it doesn't have to be a new thing that you adopt to overcome a new challenge. You can just go back to the tools in your toolkit, like the ones that I just went over, those are mine, to overcome new things. And it's fine to ask for advice. I think advice is fine, but like looking for rescue or looking for someone else to solve your problem, obviously all of us need emotional support and all of that. But if you keep relying on that and looking for others to make you feel better, then that's not really a great long-term strategy. So that's a little bit of being the victim or being at effect of your circumstances versus being responsible, like the driver of the ship, and being at cause. So people who operate in the context of responsibility declare that they are accountable for their interpretations and behavior. And one of the other things that I really liked about this description of this one is that they're more concerned about having a project or relationship work than the reasons why it will not. They look at the process, they look at what didn't work in that circumstance and what they need to be doing to solve it for the next time. So they're moving forward. And so the responsible person is willing to tell the truth about what has been done and not done. And they're not as concerned with looking good as with having life work. So they're just focused on moving forward and fixing the problem, and let's get on with it. Let's just take ownership, be brave, stand up and move forward. And I think that that's such a more empowered place to come from. It's not always easy to get there, especially when you're like at the depths of the overwhelm and frustration and stress. But it's something to be striving towards, and knowing that maybe right today, if you're feeling really crummy about something, maybe you're not going to feel that way. But maybe tomorrow, after you practice some of these things, you can start moving in that direction. and getting to that point and knowing that is available to you, feeling that empowered, brave, in control person, badass that you are. You wouldn't have even had the cojones to start a business if you didn't have that inside of you. I think that is just something to keep reminding yourself of, that you do have that inside of you, and it's a muscle to flex. Actually, we were having one of our group calls in our website program yesterday, and we were talking about it's a muscle you need to flex. And we were talking specifically about just learning how to update your website and technology and all of that. But I think all of this is just, these are all muscles that we just need to keep working and flexing and having hope that it will get better, that you're going to keep moving forward, and putting as much faith in yourself and investing as much as you can in your ability to overcome adversity as you can. Because like I said, you cannot control everything around you. Even the most successful person is still going to deal with stress. It's how you handle that stress that really makes a big difference. So I will leave you with that. And I actually forgot to mention this at the beginning, but we have a coaching call happening in just a few days. So if you want to come, this is a live open coaching call. It's specifically about websites. So if you have questions about websites, if you have a website right now and you are just having struggles with it and you're not really sure, okay, this thing isn't working, or you heard someone give some advice about something that you should do and you're not figuring it out and you're like, I don't know who to ask. I don't want to feel silly. There are no silly questions on this call. If you do want some kind of motivational support, you can come to the call and get that too. I'm happy to give that. But otherwise, it's just a great opportunity to get a little feedback from me, learn a little bit from me. It's just an open Zoom call. You can register by going to whitneybateson.com/coach. It's also in the show notes. It's going to be on Wednesday, July 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, we'll hang out for about an hour. You have an opportunity to submit your question on the form when you register. If you don't have a question, that's totally fine. Just come to the call and you can pop it in the chat and we'll get to it. Or you can email me. You'll get a confirmation email. If you think of your question, you want to respond to the email, do that and we'll get your question noted. And I'm just really excited to just hear what kinds of things you're working on, what you're thinking about, what you want to learn about more. And it'll just be a great time to talk. So I hope to see you there. And if you're listening to this after the 23rd, still go to that link and we'll probably have you directed to the replay or to get on the wait list for the next coaching call. So all good either way. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. And just remember, you've got this. We are all in this together. We all go through these ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And if you ever need someone to talk to, I am always here. Reach out to me, shoot me a message on Instagram or send me an email, send me a note through my website. I really do just love seeing other entrepreneurs succeed and feel confident in their businesses. And it is a group effort, right? Sometimes we need some other people cheering us on too. So anyway, thanks so much. And I will see you in the next episode.